What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of the JuicyTools podcast. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Quant from the Hoopas team, and we're going to go dive in all about the Hoopas project. But before we get to that, Mark, do you have any special notes for the audience?
Right now, I'm just looking forward to getting started talking about the Hoopas. They're one of my favorite projects, so I'm ready to dive in.
Let's get it. Let's go. Awesome. So, Quant, we're happy to have you here. Should I just call you Quant, by the way?
Yeah, that's totally fine. You can call me whatever you want, but Quant is fine, yeah. Excited to be here, guys. Excited to be here.
Awesome. We're happy to have you. Can you tell us a bit more about what you do for Hoopas and maybe go into kind of like a 3-minute elevator pitch, like a 30,000 foot overview of if someone doesn't know anything about the Hoopas, what can they learn?
Yes, I will. By the way, one of your favorite projects, Mark? That's
Yes. Of course it is, of course. I use you guys as my PFP all the time.
yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So
The light blue you chose right now, I see on the screen, is insane. It's like the perfect shade of light blue. It almost reminds me of like the Fortnite, but it's not the exact same. So I'm really happy with the light blue, honestly. I love the color choice.
it kind of turned into our brand identity a bit, so it worked out very well, yeah. I'm one of the founders of the project, and it's been some time since I gave a 3-minute elevator pitch, but I will do my best right now. So initially, why we started this project was to create a character IP slash entertainment project that is able to reach a huge audience in the future with their characters and entertain and slash inspire them. So that was the initial reason what inspired the project. Then for years, we have been interested in NFT stuff and more silently watching and silently involved than actively being participating. So starting this project in this realm has come pretty natural at one point. So after structuring the whole project, it kind of happened, and then the whole pre-mint marketing happened and all the hype and loud noises and the tweets and the spaces, and then in May we minted. We had an insane amount of hype around the mint. The mint, in the end, it was a success if you look at it, but there was a lot of drama involved. And then as we go on, we are now in a time and place where we are finally able to just focus on our work and build out the project with the huge goal in mind of creating this character slash entertainment IP, which will hopefully at one point entertain a good amount of the world. That's the big dream here. And with an originating NFT collection, of course, that we know, but not many if you look at the bigger picture, just the NFT space. And that's kind of how I started, what the big goal and dream is here. And what's happening currently is product partnerships to kind of work our way into the normal world, not only the digital NFT world, and then get our name out there. We're working our own first big product, and in the NFT space, we are doing a lot of content marketing that just started. We are doing a lot of incentive slash community work, and also we had just a Pixel Splash launch, which is like kind of a new venture, but introduces some new benefits for the NFTs itself. So trying to merge both worlds here currently. That's the current challenge.
Now, I see there's these two organizations set up of 3 Pixel Labs and the Hoopas. Can you share to someone who's brand new? Can you share the relationship between these two organizations? Is it like Dust Labs and Diga? Is it something like that? Or what's going on there?
Yeah, so 3 Pixel Studios is our company basically, and that company owns Upas. So Upas is basically a project, and we have the company which is called 3 Pixel Studios, and that is basically, in a nutshell, just the company behind it doing the work, which now also launched that project Pixel Splash basically. So it's the company working behind everything.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I looked at your guys' website and it was super, super professional. So it kind of screams like design studio or design background. Do you guys have like a design studio or design background?
Yeah, we don't have a design studio. Well, Pixel Splash is the first real thing that goes into that direction, I think. But for like 5 years almost, we're doing like web design and web development work just for our personal projects and for, let's say, the closer environment, but not really in a professional way or in a business way. Only on a smaller realm. We have been earning an income with it, but not that it went too crazy. But hopefully Pixel Splash can change that and reach a bigger audience with that kind of skill set and service.
If someone gets to look at the face of a Hoopa, it's hard to forget it. It's hard to forget it. It really reminds me of like Groot. Now, before I overstep myself, is the character called a Hoopa themselves, or
Yeah, the idea was yeah. The idea was that's the group name basically. It's the Upas, and the funny thing is we kind of made a joke around it that the H is silent, so it's called the Upas and not the Hoopas. I don't know if you can even hear a difference, but that was kind of the idea behind it, to have like this funny group of characters which have these super distinctive personalities and kind of that are all edgy in some way, and they're getting along with each other, but to some degree they're not getting along with each other, and that creates a very funny group dynamic. And every character has its own name and its own personality, which we are getting into with the future content even more. But that the Upas is basically the name of the group of characters, which are 22 characters, and then every character has its own name and own character, which is a whole thing we can get into if you want to. But
for sure, for
the whole
sure.
thing to
From
explore.
straight off the bat, what I see is the Hoopa itself looks like a Groot from the Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of, and the vibe it gives off is kind of the vibe of the Minions. Like, you know how there's like
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
So I feel like if they were running.
That's the most exciting thing what you could have said, because that was a huge inspiration for the vibe we are going for, was the Minions. What was the biggest inspiration, because that humor and that group energy is exactly what we wanted to go for in our own way. And when you say Groot, I think especially one character that was kind of what helped us, but also a blessing and a curse. I think that was the first character we released, was the wooden one. So everyone remembered us as the project that reminds you of a Groot. But then the other characters look completely different. But that is kind of what we're known for, yeah. Yes, exactly. It's Ike. It's that is a whole story as well. I don't know if you know. I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but Icarus, the basically the man. Yeah, the man who tried to fly and then crashed, and yeah. Yes. And that's basically Ike is a short version, and Ike is the bird who was able to fly, but he crashed, and now he is not able to fly anymore, but he learned to run, and now he's the fastest runner, basically. That's the story behind that character. Yeah, it's not a cartoon is in the works, but we are exploring the world of animation in the future, definitely, especially with the bird character, because we just touched on it. A very, very detailed and basically, I don't want to say Disney quality, but it goes super high quality 3D model was created for that character already, because we want to do something with it, which I don't think anything's released, but that has something to do with our board game as well, which we're working on, and that whole promo behind that thing is going to involve animation and especially that character, if everything works out as we plan, of course. Which it doesn't never end up as you plan.
Since you have the 3D models anyway, if you haven't already, I would recommend partnering with like Nick from DGen Royale. They're getting in like every NFT project with a strong community and that has a 3D model into their game for free. And it's basically like a Fortnite style game, but now with your NFT in the game. and you have to prove ownership of the NFT to actually play as either a Hoopa or the bird. So yeah, I would definitely if you're not in the game already, we can definitely connect you with him, and for free he'll get you in probably in under a few days. And that way users can log on and play as the bird. I think that would be super
Yeah,
cool.
you,
I would do that myself.
yeah,
I would definitely
you'll
do
be
it.
excited because one of our characters will be in the game soon, so
So
that
that
would
would
be
be
Oh,
great.
awesome. Definitely circle back with me and let me know. I'm super busy, but if you let me know, I'll definitely play it.
awesome. I will.
Awesome. Then, now that we kind of spoke about kind of a general 30,000 foot overview, I kind of want to move in to that DOYR section. If you could shed a bit of light about what's the most exciting thing on your roadmap, like why should someone go buy a Hooper right now? Let's hear it.
All right. I think like right now, because that is what's the most present thing now is Pixel Splash and the benefits that come for the NFTs on like a more utility base, I think, which are like active and passive rewards through the revenue the company generates, and also which you can generate for yourself as an active participant. So that's super exciting for many people that are just joining right now. A few people just joined based on that release and that new, like, I hate the word, but the utility that we released with it. But on a more broader level, I would say the most exciting thing that is coming up on our roadmap would be our first real co-produced product with a couple brands here in Germany. I'm from Germany and a few other team members as well. And then we have a bunch of other people from other countries, but we are based here and we are connecting with a bunch of brands over the past months. And it looks like the first co-produced product will go to production and announced very soon. So that is something won't make the biggest difference right off the bat, but that is a big milestone and a huge door that opens here, and we will go from there. But that will be something very interesting, and that can change a lot of things for the future. So that is something I look forward to a lot, because it's such a dragging and long process as well through the past couple of months. So I'm super excited that is happening. I would say that is the most exciting thing right now. So you're catching us at a nice time, because like just a week ago we were like at an all-time low, which was 0.7 Sol, I think, and then 2 days ago we were at like 1.6, 1.5, and now I think we're at 1.1. So it's kind of going up and down right now, but I think 1.1 is what I looked at this morning, so could be 1, could be 1.2, but I think 1.1 is the thing. And bananas, sorry again? Yeah, the banana's trading higher. The banana was like at what it is. Okay, it's the first character we introduced, the wooden one. Its name is Lyco, and it was basically intentionally we marketed in the beginning as the most present character and the most, like, we talked about that most often, and so everyone knew that character, and that character Lyco was also our Discord bot, so everyone was talking about their character, and the people, it reminded people of Groot, so that helped the attention. And then in the storyline of Lyco, he has his most precious item, which is his banana gun. It's his banana, basically, that he always has with him, and he never lets go. And then at one point, sadly, Lyco's banana was stolen by other Upas. One of the other characters stole it, and that's basically the story of the banana, the precious item of Lyco, and that's Lyco's banana. And the whole story around it is, if you have it, you should keep it, because it always gives you an additional benefit with whatever we're doing. So to give you a past example, right back to the mint, it gave you it gave you advantages for the reveal. It gave you additional items for the reveal. And now the most recent example is it has like a 10x reward in comparison to a normal UPA when it comes to the Pixel Splash active and passive rewards system, basically. So the whole thing around the banana is just keep it if you're interested in the journey and you have one, because whatever we're doing, it gives you an additional benefit. It adds to the whole experience. So that's basically a thing about it. And it's trading right now at 5.5 Sol. Yes,
Yeah.
but it was like, yeah, same as with Upas. Like a week ago, it was at like 3, then it went up to 8, and now it's like at 5 or so. But back in the around the mint, it was like at 40 Sol, which was a crazy time. So yeah.
Did you guys do anything this week to cause the prices to change so much, or is that just the market being crazy?
I think that's the whole Pixel Splash release and the marketing around it and stuff. And we did a lot of networking. We had a good space. We are releasing some incentives currently to get the whole sentiment back up, because we had a rather silent time. Not really silent, but a less busy time, let's say. And now it gets a bit busier again, and a lot of people joined us the past week. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that also makes me wonder. Considering it's the bear market, you guys have a pretty vibrant community. So what would you have for advice for other project founders, and then people that right now might be like thinking like maybe it's even time to shut down? And then you guys seem to be doing well, like your community's showing up for you, representing. The floor price has decent action. What do you have as advice for other builders in the space that say like the bear market is hard to build? How are you making it possible?
It is super hard. And that's an awesome question, because I had to learn that the hard way as well, I think. So first of all, you need something that grabs the attention of people, right? You need to have a viral moment at some point to gather a bunch of people and that are interested in one similar topic, which in that case is the UPAs, and back then was the mint, and now are the current topics we're working on. But to keep that community active and to keep them connected with you is the hardest thing on earth. It's the hardest thing. And what we had to learn the hard way was, luckily for us, we had amazing people that kept us accountable for what we had to do. Some people who entered early and invested a bunch of resources as well, and now we're holding like up to 200 NFTs of our collection, always told us, keep communicating. Even if you're doing nothing, keep communicating. And literally in a time where our floor price kept going down and the FUD kept increasing and everyone was talking shit about us, and the floor price keeps decreasing, and we are like internally, what are we doing wrong? We're working every day, we're working on the goal, we're doing everything we can. Nothing can change overnight. Of course we need to work on something, and at some point we have big news again. And then we talked to our like closest community members, and back then they said like, just communicate, just talk to the people. They are scared. They're invested their money. They're scared. Their money is going down. Their value is going down. They just want to hear from you guys. And back then I thought like, this is stupid. What should I say? I just did an announcement like 3 hours ago, and they're already want more. But that's the thing. That's all you gotta do at some point. Just make an update. At one point, we literally like for weeks, we made like 3 announcements a day, just telling them what we just did, just telling them that we had a meeting that went great, or that we had actually a launch scheduled, but everything went downhill and the RPCs are not working or something. And 2 or 3 times a week, we published like a to-do list we're working on for the next 2 or 3 days. And for like the time frame, which everything was super uncertain and no one believed in our capability or in our plans, that helped the core community to stick with us, because they thought, okay, nothing is looking great right now, but at least they are communicating with us and they are sticking to the plan. And that's the best advice. And now, as the sentiment is a bit more positive again, and our community is like new people join, we have such a solid community who is not only trusting us, which is the hardest thing to earn is trust, and the most important thing to earn is trust as well. And when you earn that and are not throwing it around in a stupid way or not risking it, that is everything you can. So just take care of the people who trust you and support you, and at all times, and then the rest will follow. The other people on the outside will see that eventually, that you are taking care of the people who support you. So that's the most important thing, I think, as a founder in this kind of bear market. That was long. I just talked for 10 minutes.
I would say the number one thing I noticed was the Hoopas is, for the audience watching, the Hoopas is able to do this while being undoxed. So it doesn't mean you have to be a doxed founder to make it work. They're honestly just establishing legitimacy and building trust, as Quant said. And I feel like that's really working out well for them, because there is no face to put behind the name. It's honestly whatever goals they set, and are they meeting those goals. Their work is literally be taken for face value. So I think honestly, you guys are really making this work. Especially for a project being undoxed, I would say it's a bigger challenge even to build legitimacy and trust. So what you've done is pretty impressive considering the market conditions weren't with you, like the wind wasn't blowing in your direction.
Appreciate that. Yeah, trust is definitely something you earn over a period of time. It just doesn't come that easy. Especially as you said, less surprisingly, that we are not doxed was never a big discussion for our community. Like here and there, people told us in the DMs like it would be a great idea to dox, right? That would help the sentiment. But that was only during the times where the most people doubted us. Now we don't get that DMs, not currently. There will be a time again, most likely, that more people are doubting us again. Yeah, I think it's a process that just takes time, and you need to invest in it, I think.
Honestly, I just thought it was a really interesting discussion, especially that they haven't faced that much, scrutiny from being undoxed or for being undoxed. Just because, especially when we were creating DAWs and in like our previous projects, that was always like our number one focus. But I think we might have just taken like a little bit of a different approach. I don't know if we were communicating as well as, Quant was suggesting, which might be why people were so concerned about that aspect of it. But I find it as just a really interesting perspective that as long as you have that open flow of communication, as long as the team is providing quality work, like you've seen the graphics they've made, their mini not Groots and all that. But with how much they have going on, they're able to basically get by with being undoxed, and it's fine. And I have to say, like, I trust the team just from speaking with them. It's never even come to my mind, like, are they doxed or not? I mean, I know it's a little bit of a different relationship than with like most holders, but still, I've never had any concern, and I'm interested to hear that type of perspective, because especially at the stage we're at now in the bear market, there's just so much going wrong that it seems like being doxed is a necessity, but at the end of the day, that's not even possible for everyone. Not everyone can dox, whether that be because, I don't know, maybe they have a past job, or maybe where they're living, this isn't, the most, black and white area. But it's just good to hear that as long as builders are actually building and communicating with the community, you're still able to do as well as Hoopas is, and actually, I would say, actually thrive in a market like this. So it does give me a little bit of hope on the standing of the market.
I think so as well. Yeah, I just wanted to add something very quickly, because you were in the beginning, you said it may be about the approach you was taking, and I think that is something very interesting, because some projects, they make it about the person that is behind the project. And what we did is we always made it about what we produce and what we put out and what we create. And it was never about who is creating the type of stuff, because we are not special at anything. We don't have like a past Disney artist like so many projects do. we are not like, the people can't be in the focus in our project because we are not special. We are just basically a group of people who came together and said we are doing this, and that is our dream, and we will achieve this thing. So we are not what we can market. So we may put out the best possible product to market the product. So we always put the creation in the foreground and us in the background. So I think that helped the whole conversation and put the focus to the audience as well from the very beginning. And maybe for you, you always put yourself more out there, I think. So if you put yourself more out there from the very beginning, you are more important for the product. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, and I just want to say, I know you said that it seems like that you guys don't have anything special going on, or that you personally are not special, but I think there really is just something special about a bunch of people with sort of a similar dream or sort of similar vision coming together and just saying, let's make this happen, whatever it takes. So I would call that special in its own way, but that's just a little bit of my personal opinion, but I'm sure other community members have seen that as well.
I love it. I love that look on things. I love it.
By the way, shout out to Mark for being here. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday,
Oh,
Mark.
there you should have told me in the beginning. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and it's no big deal, no big deal. Some years I forget, so it happens. But thank you.
Bringing
Thank
us
you.
back on topic, I actually have another question for you, Quant. So I wanted to know, so Quant is your Web3 persona. And I wanted to know what's your opinion, or what's your team's opinion on creating this Web3 persona? Because I feel like back in the bull market, especially if you're undoxed, it was kind of like a given that you must create a Twitter account with your Web3 name, create a persona, tweet like that person tweets, and then basically almost create a second version of you that's like a founder in Web3. And that's what a lot of people have done. And their founder Web3 name is way more well known than their real name. So do you believe in creating like a Web3 persona like that when you're undoxed? Or is there a Web3 persona behind Quant? What's your general, since you're doing this undoxed thing very well, what we wanted to get your opinion. What's your general opinions on that area?
That's interesting. So I think there are two ways to look at it. Like for me, it is like, Quant is not my real name. So of course I put a name that is not mine out there, but the character behind that name is my real self, my real character. So I'm not creating like a different character. I'm just using a different name to convey my character, I think. And the beauty of not showing your face is to really show who you really are in other aspects, I think. And also that judgment of other people is not happening, which helps your development in other areas very well. At least for me. It really, for me, not showing my face on ever so far in like for the project, really helped me to develop other areas of my character that much better, that are way more important for me as someone who is putting this project together with, of course, the co-founder. We can't forget him. But on the other hand, I think it's beautiful to show your face, show your name, and kind of work for that name, that who you really are. I mean, I'm who I really am right now, but you have no clue who I really am. So other than the name Quant, that is not worth anything to you who I really am. If I would show my real face and my real name, you at least would have a real face and real name to put that character and the values I present next to it. Now you have a profile picture and like Jimpy, our character, to put it next to. But I think it's you can look at it both sides. On one hand, it's a huge advantage, I think, because you can really focus on developing your strengths and that side of your character you need and you want to. But on the other side, it's an awesome relation builder if you put out your put out your face and your name, because it is so relatable, you know. So it both has advantages and disadvantages, I think.
For sure, for sure. So I go by Super Ape in Web3, and the reason I go by that is because my real name is 52 characters long. So people really can't pronounce that or memorize it. So I honestly just took the first three letters of my last name, like my first name SOO, and the first three letters of my last name PAR, and I put that together. I made it Super Ape. And then that's what basically I've been going by in Web3. And then for me, I've noticed that even though I'm doxxed, using a Web3 name is just easier for people to know me than using a 52 character long name. So I kind of like to play into that branding of a Web3 persona a bit. I know other people in the space like Snooze and stuff do it really, really well. But yeah, it was honestly interesting to get to see your perspective on this. Mark, before I move on from this subject, do you have anything to add?
I took a little bit of a different approach, if I'm being honest. I'm Mark in real life. I'm Mark in Web3. I just couldn't come up with a name, so I just decided, Mark's pretty easy to remember. I'm gonna have to go with that for now. Maybe one day I'll evolve that into a persona, but that's really my only thoughts on that matter.
But that's super relatable, I think. That's super relatable and fits exactly you. Like I don't know you long enough to judge that, but just right off the bat, like the few minutes we talked, that just fits so well. I think it's super relatable, and I think everyone has their own approach and what they want to be in the space and want to do in the space is really different. So whatever works for you, I think is right.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I really think it is just sort of how you move toward it, but I don't think like Mark Ape or anything like that would have too great a success. But anyways, Soria, did you have any final questions for this so that we can wrap it up and like Quant get back to his day?
Yeah, so kind of as like, let me do that again. Yeah, so kind of as a final question, what I would want to ask is kind of looking at the 30,000 foot picture. Um, where do you see Hoopas going? I know it's a big IP play, but should we expect like a Hoopas TV show, a magazine, or what's really like the 3 or 5 year vision? If a holder is signing up as a whale or as a long term holder, what should they be looking forward to?
That's awesome. So the big thing we talked, I haven't talked about this for weeks, but like around the mint time, you always talk in public spaces what you want to do and why are you here and what's your big vision and stuff. And we always talked about like what would just be unreal and insane for us to achieve would be an actual movie. So that is something that is like the biggest dream we have for the project, I think, is a movie. No idea how that should work as of right now, but I think that will fall in place with time and as we proceed. We are taking this step by step. So, but that's the big dream that if they could evolve in something like that, it would be awesome. But the plan here is to just build around the IP, the brand we are creating. So that is like small steps now, and eventually those turn into bigger steps. What I mean by that is we are now taking small steps. We are partnering with small brands here locally, eventually, hopefully, internationally, and co-producing products with them to build a different kind of audience and to introduce new people that have never heard about us to the faces of our characters. I think building such an IP play, or how you said IP play, or characters that people should be excited for and inspired by, you have people need to see them on things they can relate to, on items they can relate to, or in a game they want to play, in a movie they want to see. So that is our first step into achieving that type of things, that huge relatability you want to achieve. And our first big product we're working on currently, which will take some time still, is a board game. I touched on it briefly earlier, which will be a board game for children. And we want to, like, the goal here is to produce it with a big publisher in Germany. We are in contact with multiple, but that is a long process. It's so annoying if I say that. Super slow. It's not comparable. You're so used to doing 10 tasks a day and just pushing out one thing after another in the space, and then you kind of move out of that little, I don't want to call it bubble, but just for the reference now, like out of that bubble, and suddenly there are huge institutions who have their processes, and you can't go around that. No matter who you are, you just need to play the game and just wait for yours when it's your turn. So that's kind of happening in the board game side of things. But that's super, super excited, and should introduce our first product, our our own product, to a huge audience. So that is kind of the go here when let's say offline, if you want to call it like that. And like on the online part of things, like within NFTs, we want to keep rewarding them. We want to keep incentivizing holding and buying our NFTs, because I think not only from a community perspective, because it's a great time to be part of the community and part of the experience, but also it should be worth it for you, because long term you won't be around if it isn't worth it for you. So that is happening with the active and passive rewards through Pixel Splash. Any type of reward from those products we are co-producing in a bit with the brand here in Germany, be it a giveaway from the product itself to holders, or up to a point where you benefit financially from it, that is still up in the stars, depending on how big the partnership gets. So that is kind of the play here, and the biggest reason why you should invest into our NFTs, because you are just part of a huge journey, and it's definitely the very beginning still. It seems like we are a good few months old, but a good few months are just nothing if you compare to the big picture. So exciting times ahead, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, Quant. And for the viewers watching, if you want to learn more about Hoopas, their website is in the description box below. Also, a Magic Eden link to their collection is down there. So if you want to pick up a Hoopa or a Lycos banana, definitely do that. Do you have any final words for them before we wrap this up?
Yo, shout out to you guys. It was such a pleasure to be here. You're doing an amazing job. The questions were awesome. I really had to think about some, and I love those open discussions about a few topics. So really enjoyed that, and I hope the listeners enjoyed as well. And best of success to you guys as well.
It was a pleasure hosting you. Thank you so much. And for the viewers watching, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tune in next week when we have another cool project on the show. Till next time.
Of course. Wait, let me just